All right, so just some preface. I literally just got done watching the fucking episode. I've been watching this show since the fucking beginning, man. I love this shit. I started watching it right after Season 2 came out. I binge-watched the first 2 seasons like 8 fucking times. It's a great fucking show. I feel like I gotta get this out of the way because I feel like some of you motherfuckers are just gonna jump in the comments like, oh, he ain't a real Game of Thrones fan. He ain't a real Game of Thrones fan. Shut the fuck up. I know what I'm talking about. All right. So, Season 8, Episode 4, a bunch of bullshit. Not Episode 71, a bunch of bullshit. That's what I'm going to label the title as, because that's everything that fucking happens. Let me go from the first thing I can think of. Oh, hell yeah, we're all in the fucking hall, we're all having a great time, everyone's celebrating, we beat the fucking Night King, no big deal, right? People are joking about that shit. Besides John in that fucking harrowing-ass scene in the beginning when they set everybody on fire and they say the words, he gives the fucking mixed-up Night's Watch speech where he kind of mixes his own words into it about we'll never see their like again, the shields that guard the realms of men, blah, blah, blah. It was awesome. I loved that shit. That shit was good. But y'all are gonna cut to some fucking awesome partying about how happy everyone is. Like, I get that everyone's happy. It makes sense. I'm not trying to say that. I'm trying to say that y'all have pretty much played this shit off like a motherfucking joke, bruh. You can hear it in my voice, how goddamn pissed off I still am about the other episode. I'm not even going to go into the horrendous execution of the Night King, but I might touch on it a little bit because they talk about it a lot in this episode, like they wanted to press the salt into our motherfucking wounds. I'd say that's not the only instance of that in this fucking episode, and again, I'll probably get to that at some point, but this is an unstructured rant, so I'll probably forget about it too. So, let's see, where are we at fucking next? Oh my God, this probably isn't in order. But just the next thing that I think of right fucking away is that great fucking cuck scene between Tormund and what's her name, Brienne and Jaime. Jaime and I almost called him Littlefinger because he used to be smart like Littlefinger, but he's a fucking idiot now. Tyrion. Him and fucking Jaime and fucking Pod and fucking Brienne are all sitting down there playing that truth or lie drinking game where they ask you a question and if it's a lie, they have to fucking drink, or if you don't tell the truth or they get the answer right, you know, I've said the words wrong, I got the rules wrong, but I'm pissed off, alright? Just leave me alone. It's not that big of a fucking deal. So they're playing the game, they're asking questions, they're going through personal shit in their lives. They ask him about the dance with Renly. Tyrion gets asked about his wife before fucking, what's her name, Sansa, the whore lady, not Shay, but Tysha, that's her name. Hell yeah, I'm surprised I remembered that on the spot there. Okay, so they go through that, right? They establish that they're drunk as fuck, they're having joke times. But then, they ask fucking Brienne, are you a virgin? Which, honestly, they've done this before. That scene when Jaime and her are walking down the road, and he's talking about her being the biggest and strongest, how none of the guys could fucking get on her, and how maybe one time she wanted a big, strong knight to wrestle her to the ground and have her way with her. You know, it seems a little weird me saying it like that, but if you think about the context of the universe, it's really not that fucking strange. Either way, they've established this before, you know? She was able to fucking battle and combat with her, or not with her, with fucking Jaime. He's pretty much a bitch now, and I'm not saying a bitch in terms of female, a bitch in that he's a shadow of his former self, and he's nobody like he used to be, and I'm not saying like the dickhead Jaime Lannister, I'm saying the Jaime Lannister they transformed him into in seasons 3 and 4 after they chopped his fucking hand off, where he's still kind of an asshole, but he's starting to learn humility, he's starting to see the world for it really is, not the way it perceived to be from his ivory fucking tower where he pushed Bran, you know? And they've ruined him. They've ruined so many people. Oh my God, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm mad. I'm just gonna keep pushing through this. So they ask her about her virginity. She stands up. I have to go take a piss. Like, okay, bitch, fine. Just get up and walk away. You don't have to say nothing, you know? And that's something about this episode I noticed. There were a few moments where they paused and then cut to the next scene where I'm like, oh, they're about to say some stupid shit, right? And if I can remember any specific instances, I'll throw them in there, but I honestly doubt that I will. I'm going to try and like click back through the episode to see if it can help me remember some shit. I'm actually about to do that right now. Okay, so I'm getting off topic here. So she gets up, she leaves. Tormund comes over to her, says some shit about beating the dead, and now they have to be the living, and he's pretty much making a pass at her. "Please excuse me, sir," she says to Tormund. You could see on his face, he's drunk as shit. He just had a moment where he made a toast to the Dragon Queen, and he drank, and he was happy as shit, talking about his friend Jon and how he's real king material, real warrior material. He rode on a dragon. He's a badass motherfucker. And, you see how happy he is, and she crushes this motherfucker. And then, of course, he can't just be sad. All the dudes in this show have been shit on and raped. It's fucking terrible. Nobody's who they used to be. He's a stupid joke-cracking Neanderthal, bruh. He used to have some grit and some real fucking gruffness to him, But now, he's, again, like I said, the fucking joke lining, I'm the Drax of this universe. I gotta say weird off-color shit because I'm a wildling that might not be exactly appropriate to the social situation, but, I'm just speaking my mind type shit. He's not who he used to be, man. That's just kind of the point I'm making. I kind of said that 3 times, but I'm really trying to drive that point home. Anyone who gets what I'm saying knows what I'm saying already, and I don't have to explain it this much. But then, honestly, anyone who doesn't get it already probably refuses to view the show through an objective lens. They like the fucking spectacle of the characters they appreciate that are still alive doing good shit. Oh, they scared me. They faked out the fucking deaths like 8 times, and I'm fucking 90 plus IQ. I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know that they're not going to actually kill this character because they've done this 3 fucking times already in the same damn episode. See? What did I say about going off on a tangent about Season 8, Episode 3? That shit is atrocious. Honestly, at this point, though, I can't decide what's worse. So, Tormund's sad, right? I know. Right back to that. And he's standing there. He's kind of looking around. Jaime comes up to him, pats him on the shoulder, looks him at the eyes, gives him the Night King smirk, the trademark grin of the show, and fucking walks away. That's right. Tormund gets cucked by Jaime. And I know all of y'all are out there arguing, oh, well, Jaime's been set up on this forever. Fucking Brienne loves Jaime. She doesn't even like Tormund. Yeah, I get that. But honestly, at this point, why do either one of them have to have her? I get love triangles are cool, but it's not really a love triangle anymore. It's a love line with this weird dude standing outside the door crying. That's awkward. I'm sure some people are into that, but I think that shit is just morally deficient, it's mentally deficient, and it's downright reprehensible. I couldn't think of a word. I had to think of something appropriate. Cucks are wrong. Cucks are bad, okay? Just putting that one out there. All right, so moving on from the cuck scene. Honestly, actually, let's not move on too far. Let's go into when Jaime and Brienne are in the room. I think it's actually kind of nice where she's trying to get his shirt off and he's drunk as fuck and he's kind of stumbling over himself, because I feel like the original Jaime Lannister was way more brash and abrasive, and I feel like that's primarily due to the love-hate relationship that him and Cersei had. It wasn't necessarily based on the fact of that's just who this character is. It's based on the dynamic between these 2 characters. And now that dynamic has changed because he's not around the same character, I'm not surprised that he's hot. He's fucking literally hot and bothered, and he's nervous, and he's stammering, and he's stepping over himself, and I know he's already going to have a hard time taking his shirt off, but you're telling me he hadn't practiced that shit at least a little bit for how many years he hadn't had his hand now? I get it's a good joke, it's cool, it's funny, and I actually do appreciate her helping him out, and then taking charge of herself, and fucking getting her shit off, and then they do the do. Alright, I'm going to move on from that point. Let's see here. I'm going to chop through the episode a little bit. Let's see. Arya and fucking Gendry. That's right. Arya and Gendry. He's been looking for her for a little bit since the party started. And he goes over there and finds her shooting the bow. I think that's kind of awesome. She's always been an archery fanatic. I really appreciate the little shit that D&D has done to make me not completely forsake this series. I'm in a completely different place than I was a month ago about Game of Thrones. Yeah, I'll be honest, I was kind of a season 7 and 6 and 5 and even 4 to some people, apologist. You know, I like this shit. Good girl, bad pussy. I know that shit's ridiculous, but in my mind, I was willing to kind of push that shit down and forget about it, to think about all the cool shit we got. But now that I really think back to all that shit, it was just cool shit to look at. It was, quote, plot development for shit that never led anywhere, for people that died or their storylines literally fizzled out when someone stole the win from them. See? There I go, subtly referencing Season 8, Episode 3 again. Fuck that fucking episode. Honestly, fuck it. Fuck it. Strike it from the record. I hope when George R.R. Martin writes the books that exact same shit happens, that the fucking Night King grabs Arya in fucking Temple of Doom, rips her heart out of her chest, just because fuck D&D, fuck all of y'all who are like, oh, it's set up because she's an assassin and she fought when she was blind with a stick against some little girl. Fuck y'all, bruh. That's Jon's storyline. That's the whole reason they brought him back to life. I don't give a shit about the Azor Ahai thing. I'm not a book reader, but literally, bruh, since he saw the damn undead people, he's been trying to get people serious about it. He's been trying to stop the threat. Hearthhome is him and the Night King's dance, bruh. They have a waltz of death amongst each other, amongst their forces. The Night King slaughters them in fucking mass. He loses no forces except for that one White Walker. And I guess if you think about the retroactive addition of when you kill a White Walker, all the whites that he raised dies. All the whites that he had probably shattered too, and the Night King probably can't resurrect those. But then you think right at the end of the fight, bruh, no one had Dragon Glass besides Jon. No one had Valyrian Steel besides Jon. Like 20 whites died, for real, you know? All those motherfuckers came back to life, plus all the motherfuckers he done killed. The Night King is insane, and y'all are really just gonna fuck up his storyline that damn bad. Wow, I almost forgot where I was at for a second. I had to slow down and kind of reprocess my thoughts because I got off onto that shit again. But I was talking about the Arya and Gendry scene, right? Where Gendry is like Gendria. Oh, that's their couple ship name. Call them Gendria, even though it's never gonna fucking happen. This episode, honestly, I was gonna complain about that shit a little bit. I was gonna make a feminism thing, but I'm re-examining myself a little bit, and I might just be a little jaded that a lot of aspects of our life, including this show, have been injected with identity politics. This is a character moment. This isn't a feminism moment. Literally, bruh, in the episode with Ned, I think it's season 1, episode 3. No, it's 4. I think it's 4. I'm not 100% sure. Where she's doing the water dancing shit, and she's on the stairs, and he comes up and talks to her about chasing the cats, and he talks to her about being a lady and living in a castle, and her sons are going to be knights and all that shit, and she says, no, that's not me, you know? Like, perfect. Oh, that shit's excellent. It's beautiful. In my secondary analysis and the time I've sat here and gotten angry about this bullshit, I've actually had some time to calm down on other things, which is really nice because I'm definitely not fucking finished yet. I'm clicking through the episode here. Please give me 1 fucking second. All right, cool. This scene at the end of the concert hall. I call it a concert hall. It's a fucking dining hall. It's the fucking Lord's banquet hall. Everyone's cheering for Jon about him being a king and shit. Tormund got everyone hyped up and stuff. And then Daenerys throws a fucking hissy fit and walks out of the room, and Varys, like, bows his head and follows her out. I think that was a good move. He's been keeping an eye on her a lot recently. They have some setup for that. I'm going to talk about that more later. You know, that... Oh, dude, I'm going to take a second real quick, actually. Varys, he's back in form. I thought all the dudes were fucked up, but it's all the dudes without nuts who have been castrated and shit, like Theon and fucking Varys. Rest in peace, Theon, by the way. Varys and fucking Grey Worm that have the real gripping, like, character moments, and they're actually their characters and shit consistently. And that's nice and all, but that's two people now. There's a lot more dudes in the show, and I know that I sound like a men's rights activist, but I know y'all feminists are also complaining about equal rights and representation and shit, and now it's like 80-20. All the fucking women are awesome. Some might be a little insane, but that's part of their character. They're all badass in their own right, though. You know, that's the strong female character motto. I don't think that makes a great character, but all of these women have great characters that have been established over many, many years. Bless you, George R. R. Martin, for those first few seasons, because without that, who the fuck knows who these people would be? I have no idea. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Daenerys gets out, leaves. She goes to see Jon. I thought she was just going to go pout by herself like Jon was doing when she shows up. Honestly, that's very reminiscent of Ned Stark. Ned Stark used to do those long, sullen silences in the corner like Batman by himself, because he's probably just grief-stricken and, like, reflecting on the recent events in his life. He's like, holy shit, it's over. He's like, I don't know what to do about Daenerys. I don't want to be king, but I think she might be insane. My family's starting to turn... He's got a lot of shit brewing in his head, you know? And she comes in here and starts trying to play the lovey-dovey game on my boy Jon. You heard me burp there because my stomach can sense bullshit from that bitch a mile away. I was sitting right next to the computer, but you could have sat me down the street and I would have known that shit was fake, you know? I could have seen it through the window, not heard a damn thing, and known she was playing him. Because this bitch... for most times in her life, unless people are, like, kowtowing and subjugating to her, is like a plank of wood. I ain't saying that's Emilia Clarke. She's gotten a lot better with her acting. Her first few seasons could be better. I think of good moments. I'm not going to go all through them right now. It's not really worth the time, in my opinion. This is a rant video about this fucking episode. But she's never really, like, seriously been sweet with anybody but Jon and, like, Sansa. But anytime she's been doing that shit up until this point, she's been playing her own fucking game. She's been trying to spin people in her direction. Like that shit in episode 2 with Sansa. Oh, we're girls, we need to stick together. Your brother manipulated me, I'm just a dumb girl, blah, 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 blah. We're fighting the armies, blah. But... of course, I think the shit with Sansa, what about the North, is dumb, the way they handled it, the particular lines and the delivery and like, all of it. It gets very dramatic very fast. It's almost reminiscent of Attack of the Clones, when Anakin's talking about loving Padme, thinking about her every night, and then he transcends into, like, it tearing his soul apart, and how it's like he doesn't know what to do, and he's like, he feels like he's not really who he's himself. It's battling with his core principles and shit. And how he's, like, screaming and freaking out. She's not screaming, but the level of shift, like the ramp up scale, was the same 1 to 10 that happened there, in my opinion. It might not be exactly the same comparison, but I also watched the prequels recently, so that comparison is fresh in my mind, just for the sake of clarity and honesty. So she's talking to my main man, Jay Snow, or should I say A.T., because he's Aegon fucking Targaryen. Badass, right? Not really. It doesn't really matter that much to me, again, because I'm not a book reader, and I didn't do the whole R plus L equals J thing, and I didn't read the books and hold on to that shit for years, like, oh, I know what's gonna happen, and then they finally revealed it. They handled it pretty ham-fistedly in the episode, literally, or not in the episode, but in the show, dropping it on you 3 different times in 2 episodes. One time, Bran literally over a cutscene of the background. I think it's nice. It's a nice shot. Like, if that had been the only time they expressly stated it to you, that would have been, whew, because it shows, like, Jon at the court, where it's zooming out from his eyes, right as he's saying about how he's Aegon Targaryen, Lord of his first 7th of his name, King of the 7 Kingdoms, Lord of the Andals, and the first man, blah, 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 blah. That shit is epic, but it's also very heavy. I keep bumping into my microphone. I'm not used to doing this type of shit, honestly. I'll be honest with you. See, I said honest twice there. You can tell I kind of out of my element. I'm a little off guard. Well, that being said, it gets undercut as fuck because they showed the same type of shit 2 other times where they drop that information on you, you know? Sam and Bran, or the Three-Eyed Raven, have their conversation. Or should I say, Sam and the Three-Eyed Plot Device. And then when Sam reads it in the diary, honestly, never mind. You could put it in the diary and then put it at the end, because some people might not remember that shit from the diary, you know? He says it pretty effectively, pretty succinctly, and pretty clearly, but yeah, I don't trust people to retain a lot of shit, because myself, I have issues with it. There's a lot of show, and there's a lot of shit that I feel like my brain just discounts as unimportant, you know? What was I even doing? Oh, yeah. I was talking about Daenerys trying to manipulate my main man, Jon, talking about how he needs to keep his legacy a secret, how he's Aegon Targaryen and he can't tell his soul, and he's got to swear to her and all this shit. And that's how they're going to be together and be happy. And then he says, oh, I'm your queen, and I can't change that, but they're also my family, and I have to tell them the truth. And then she's like, but we can live together. And then she pulls him in real close, and she says, I've told you how we can live together already. That's how we can do it. She says it differently. That's one of those moments where I was talking about, where it's like, oh, are they going to say something stupid to fuck it up? Good line. Great line. Good shit. Next scene. Winterfell army, they're gathering up their troops. They're taking the tokens off the board. They throw the Golden Company on there, you know. They're kind of getting an essence for their battle plans. And they literally say they only lost half of the Dothraki and the Unsullied. Bruh, are you shitting me? Y'all set up that badass scene. All right, real quick, I'm going to call out Nerd Soup. They don't sacrifice realism for spectacle. Well, that spectacle sacrificed the fuck out of some realism. Because one, the cavalry charge was retarded because they were on the front lines, and there's a shit ton of videos about cavalry. I'm going to link this one video I saw about the changed battle plans at Winterfell. That's fucking excellent, that y'all should watch. It's just, oh my god, if they had made the episode like that, holy shit! But nah. So they sacrificed all those Dothraki in that episode, save for like the 5 or 6 that came back with Jorah. Because if you saw the scene with the undead tidal wave that washes over the fucking Unsullied... Wait, hold on. I was going to make a point about how lethal the wave of Unsullied crushing undead are, but then I just realized half of the Dothraki and the Unsullied died. They really weren't that lethal, were they? Plus, Jon said half the Northmen are still alive, too. At the end of the damn episode, when the Night King dies, there ain't nobody alive. There's the main characters, bruh. Where were they? Were they down in the crypts hiding behind Varys, behind the damn statues? Fucking holy shit, I could go off on that damn episode for an hour and a half, but I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to stick to this. All right, my main point being, y'all are really going to show us these motherfuckers getting annihilated. And then half of them are still going to be alive at the end of at the beginning of the next episode, or about 36 minutes through the next episode, maybe 33 if you count the advertisement at the beginning. By the way, not related, that show Chernobyl they keep advertising on HBO Go looks really cool. I want to check that shit out at some point. All right, where was I? They're talking about the battle plans. They get half the forces back because that shit's dumb and they don't care anymore about fucking realism. They just want to have a cool-looking shot as Season 8, Episode 5, where they all fight and yada-yada-yada-da. And then Daenerys says some shit about going down there and fucking her up and ripping her out root and stem. And just like in Season 6, when her whole war council of Olenna Tyrell and those motherfuckers talk her down like, hey, we don't want to be Queen of the Ashes, da-da-da, we don't want to fucking kill everybody that we're about to rule, that seems kind of counterproductive. That big fancy palace you want to rule, that big iron chair, you're gonna fucking melt it, retard. Like, come on. Also, calling retard anti-PC, oh, you're anti-PC, you're a fucking alt-right motherfucker. Of course they're not actually retarded. I wouldn't walk up to someone with a mental disability and call them retarded. That's retarded. You're retarded for even thinking that if you're not a retarded person. If you are retarded and you think that, I'm sorry that people in your life have treated you bad. If we ever meet in person, you deserve a hug and a handshake. All right. So they talk some sense into her, right? She sits there and she grits her teeth and she has a little hissy fit moment and she tells those motherfuckers that we gotta do this. But then Sansa's like, well, we can't do this because the troops are wounded. They just fought the undead army, bro. We gotta chill out for a little bit and recoup. People are wounded. People are tired. We need to do this. How long do you suggest, Queen Daenerys of Crazy Town says? And Sansa doesn't give her a specific amount of time. But then fucking Queen Daenerys of Crazy Town says, well, you pledged your fucking soldiers to fight for me, and now you're going to postpone it. And Jon Cuck of the North, Aegon Cuck, 7th of his name, Cuck Snow, Cuck Targaryen, all of these dudes in this character are, like, cucked by the women. It's so sad. They can't do anything that without their fucking, their master's permission, their mistress's permission. And anything they do, the fucking mistress, I'm sorry, I should have been more clear about that. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Unless all of them, by mob rule, like, force them down. And even then, it doesn't work sometimes. But nah. Daenerys says, y'all are gonna shunt on my oath. And Jon, of course, we're gonna follow your command, my queen. Fuck off, dude. I get you said you don't want to rule, but you also said that the only reason you brought Queen Daenerys of Crazy Town to the north is because you wanted to defeat the White Walkers and save the north and the world. You know, you love the north. You said that you aren't a Stark, but you're Ned Stark's son, and you love it. You grew up there, and that's your home, and you love that place. But none of that matters now that you're getting cucked by Queen Crazy Town Lady Pants. I don't even know what to call her anymore. She pisses me off so damn much. I think it's kind of a cool twist that she's starting to become the Mad Queen. I think it's kind of cool, but I feel like it's gonna just be very contrived, you know? I feel like there have been multiple moments in the episode. I stopped myself from going into the end of the episode in a very key moment that I think is ridiculous, almost like the Night King moment, but not nearly as severe. But where she can, like, stymie her craziness whenever she wants, just kind of subjectively. Also, Jon tells Sansa and Arya about being Aegon, but you can't tell no one. You got to swear. Sansa, Arya, you got to swear. I also like that moment where him and the three-eyed plot device look at each other, and they're like, they make a knowing glance. I, like, looked and made a nod, like someone listening to this video can see what the fuck I'm doing without a video camera in front of my face. I'm ridiculous sometimes. I'm sorry, y'all. If I make more videos like this, I'm sure you'll fucking come to see it. And that being said, if y'all like this and you want me to make a rant on the rest of Season 8, make a comment. Let me know. But nah, real talk. Jon tells them and swears them to secrecy, and Arya says she swears, Sansa swears, of course Sansa's gonna lie. Why are we surprised by this? This is her character now. She's the fucking game player, you know? She's the Littlefinger Cersei, Littlefinger. That's his fucking, that's his rap name. That's his the Iron Throne Chronicles would be his fucking debut mixtape. He'd make like a 7-volume collection up until his confessional on the track where he pleads Sansa Stark for his forgiveness, and then they put him getting his throat cut on the track. Okay, that was a weird divergence. I don't even know where, oh yeah, I was talking about Sansa. She lies, of course, and she tells Tyrion about that shit, which I think is great, because it sets up a great plot thread between Varys and Tyrion, where they're talking about Jon Snow, or Aegon Targaryen, being the rightful king of the Seven Kingdoms, and how he's probably the better ruler because Daenerys is being crazy. And I'm going to talk about this scene right now just because I'm here. This is my favorite scene in the episode. It's the best scene in the episode. Honestly, I'd be going as far to say it's the best scene in the whole damn season. It makes the most sense from a character standpoint. It's good for plot development. It's well shot. The nice torch crackling in the background in their hush tones has great audio design. It's not dark as fuck, so the lighting is well shot. They do a lot of shot, reverse shot, but honestly, I don't really care about that shit that much. I don't think it's that big of a gripe, you know? Like, whatever if they fucking cut back and forth between the two people to express the dialogue. They don't have to have some crazy, like, swirly-durly shot of them jumping over each other or whatever you film majors want to make it a good fucking scene. You know, the shit's good, in my opinion. And notice I said in my opinion. Please feel free to leave yours in the comments if you're listening to this video. I would really appreciate it. I would like to talk to you about your opinions, each and every one of you. However, I keep saying that. Like, there's going to be more than anybody that listens to this video. There's probably going to be my mom who listens to this video and, like, 10 other people. But that's fine. I'm recording this to get my fucking frustration out. And just to make a point, my angst levels are down tremendously. But they're about to spike in just a moment. Because, wait, no, they're not. I'm sorry. I almost fucking got off on where I was going. I want to talk about that Varys and Tyrion scene. It's great. They're talking about Daenerys and how she's kind of going crazy and how she's very hell-bent on killing Cersei and winning the throne. She's focused, actually something I forgot in the War Council scene that I want to reference to back now because it's relevant and I just thought about it, is they call Cersei the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, and then Daenerys says, like, people are like, no one believes that, and then she's like, well, she could still call herself that, and that's, see, she's going crazy. She's actively going insane. And they're telling me that this type of petty bullshit is going to set her off. But the thing at the end of the episode is okay. And again, I'm not talking about that right now. I'll talk about that in a minute. So, they talk about how Jon is a better king. People are gravitating towards him. People love him. People respect him. He's a war hero. He's honest. He's kind. He doesn't want the throne. Oftentimes, that shit doesn't matter. I feel like that's kind of a parallel between him and his father, where he gets appointed hand of the king and has to serve in Robert's stead when he gets jabbed by the boar, even though he doesn't fucking want to. I'm also, sidebar, I'm really worried about Jon's health. I don't think he's going to make it out of the show. Because in this episode, they single-handedly, in like a minute and 30, shut off all his fucking friendships. He tells Sam that he's his best friend and he hopes he'll see him again eventually. He sends Tormund back off to the wall with fucking Ghost, his faithful companion, that in the preview to this episode looks fine, but in this episode, if you see him, he's all cut up and bruised and bloodied. Good job, D&D. I noticed, but I'll give you a pass for it because otherwise it would have been fucking completely ridiculous. It's ridiculous still that he survived on the head of the Dothraki charge. Actually, no, it's not, based on the rules of this ridiculous universe. It's half of the Dothraki survived. Jorah survived until he needed to die for Daenerys' convenient sake. Why not Ghost survive, you know? Like, Jorah didn't even get hurt until he needed to. Ghost gets a little hurt because he's an animal with no armor. Wait, armor doesn't matter, but I'm not going to go there. And Tyrion gets cucked to Daenerys again, even though she isn't there. I believe in Daenerys. And then Varys says something that makes a lot of goddamn sense to me. Even if you're wrong, even if it's the wrong decision. And he says, I have a belief that she's going to be right for the kingdoms. And then Varys says, you know who I serve. I'll never betray them. Referencing the realm. Again, I don't care about this change from the book because I don't know about Varys' character from the book with the black fires. I like this Varys. He's very altruistic. He's very self-serving. And it's nice to see him having a little bit of wit, even though it's against the dull butter knife version of Tyrion. Varys leaves scene. I've said all that I can as honestly as I can. Tyrion says, don't do it, probably implying that Varys is going to try some shenanigans. If he's smart, he tells Arya. Arya can kill the Night King. Oh, wait, no, she left. Never mind. She left the fucking castle. But they left the castle. Everyone left the castle. I bet you, no, she left with the Hound. I like that. That's nice when the Hound goes off and he's going on his journey and Arya joins her. That was good. I enjoyed that. Moving on. The scene with Bronn and Tyrion. I'll be honest with you, I got faked the fuck out by this hard. I thought Bronn loved Tyrion. He's been simpering and bowing to these motherfuckers this whole time, though, in his own special way. He gives them lip, but he also acts like he's their friend, so they don't treat him like an asshole. That's fucking brilliant, D&D. Good job. This is something I will give y'all massive praise for. because I don't like a lot of the shit you've changed from the books. Bronn's like a nothing burger in the books. He's a nobody. And this Bronn is great. He's land the fucking clever in the flesh, bruh. I saw a picture of him drawn up. He's even got the same damn hairstyle. He's a lot older, but that doesn't matter. He goes in there, and he intimidates the shit out of one-hand Jaime and Cuck Tyrion. And he tells him, give me Highgarden, bitches. I'll be back when the war's over. He should have had a maniacal laugh when he walked out of the door. I'm the best. He's probably going to die in a really anticlimactic way because he's way too cool of a male character for this feminism agenda show to let live out to the end. Just pointing that out there. Just setting that out under the table, moving on. That's the end of this scene. I liked it. It was awesome. I'm not getting my hopes up for a thrilling conclusion. I'll say that based on what's happened so far. I'll be honest with you right now, I'm cutting through the episode, and I went through the parts, what's happening here? Oh, this is another scene of Tyrion and, what's-his-name? Varys talking about Jon and Daenerys being the right queen and king. Tyrion suggests that they get married. Varys says, you know who this queen is. Kind of referencing what he just saw at the banquet hall where she throws a hissy fit for people liking Jon more than her about how she's not going to want to share the throne. If she can't share a banquet hall that isn't even hers with the lord of the banquet hall, how the fuck do you expect her to share the Iron Throne with anybody? Much less the only person with the stronger claim in the entire Seven Kingdoms. The only person in her mind with a blood right to the throne, besides maybe Gendry Baratheon, which they faked us the fuck out with that. Good job, D&D. You did your stupid fake out where you played the dramatic music where Daenerys calls out Gendry like she's gonna get him executed, but then she makes him Gendry Baratheon, and he's fucking Lord of Storm's End. Yeah, that's awesome. I like that. That's some good shit. I'm glad he's captain of Storm's End. I'm sad he's gonna be by himself, but at least he might have a happy ending. I'm kind of expecting, based on the scene I'm about to talk about, that all these characters are going to get killed by Cersei and Discount, Jack Sparrow mixed with Barbossa. But, we'll see, won't we? So, next scene. That scene it's the same scene of Tyrion and Varys talking about Jon and Daenerys. They're moving their fleets. They go to Dragonstone. They're flying their armies. This shit's nice, This shit's really nice. I actually really like this shit a lot. And, for a second. But then, out of nowhere! Also, by the way, just before I set this up, fuck you, D&D. Why is Euron Greyjoy a more suspenseful and a more lethal and a more efficient and a more cunning villain than the fucking Night King, the embodiment of death itself? Doesn't matter. I'm just going to rage about this scene and try as much not to connect it as I can. So, right in the heart, Rhaegal, after mysteriously recovering, even though they do have a throwaway line about him needing to heal, which I now know is just an excuse not to have Jon on Rhaegal so he doesn't die in this fucking scene. Rhaegal, that big giant gash he gets from Viserion on his chest, gone. Every one of the dragons who got bit up and scratched and stabbed, they're all Gucci. It doesn't matter. That last episode, minus the 50% of the soldiers that died, and Theon, and Jorah, and fucking little bitch Mormont. Oh, fuck that scene. I'm not going to talk about it, but fuck that scene. Besides them dying, didn't matter. That shit and the Night King dying, and the army of the dead, and the impending doom of the entire world, the apocalypse being stopped. Nothing happened. They got to set it up as a nice, funny joke a couple of times. Where the Hound even references to Arya when they go on their nice little journey. I said I liked that, but I did have one gripe I didn't think about in that moment. Where she where the Hound asks Arya, that must have felt good sticking that icy fucker, or that horned fucker. And she says it was whatever, And bullshit. Fuck that. We should have at least got something. There should have at least been something. Something. I hate y'all, D&D. I really do. And my bias might be interacting how much I'm hating this episode, but this episode has a lot of shit to hate in it. It has a lot of shit. I said stuff and shit together before I said shit. That's what this episode is. Piles of shit. That's all it is. Not Viserion, he died last episode on some Aria Deus Ex Machina, nothing worse than L Kid teleporting ninjutsu bullshit. Rhaegal catches a fucking bolt to the chest, and then one through the top of the wing in his little dragon hand. They kind of look more like wyverns than dragons to me, just saying, but that's a more classical fantasy interpretation. Not going to get off on that tangent. And then he catches one right through the damn neck, and he's dead. They hit all those damn shots, or at least all the ones we saw, and then a bunch of more start raining in right out of nowhere. That dramatic music they've been using since Season 7, Episode 2, when Euron fucking introduces himself at the fleet, and he drops his little death hammer thing down onto the ship. They play that theme. He starts firing bolts. They're fucking them up. They have a lot of ships. Based on the accuracy, at that distance, they're all fucked in my mind. It only makes sense, right? Wrong. Daenerys has plot armor, and by extension, Drogon has plot armor because Daenerys is on top of her. So not only do they fly away and escape, not only does she try and fucking look at her kid or stop for a second like the last episode and be sad before she leaves. No. She fucking head charges. Talking about Crazy Town earlier. She's insane. Head charges the fleet of ballista-laden ships. They all just sit there and wait. None of them shoot until she gets perfect firing distance. They probably don't even have to lead those shots because she's flying straight at them pretty much. Even though Euron, you see him, he's excited. He killed that dragon. They shot the fuck out of that dragon. They're ready. They're ready to murder this bitch. She's flying straight at him. She lets out her fucking tard yell. And right as they fire, she does her stupid move from Season 7, Episode 4, where she turns at the last minute and dodges like 20 fucking ballista bolts when the first 3 that were fired at Rhaegal just fucking annihilate him. And I hear you saying now, oh, but fucking Dub Tray 6. Oh, he wasn't paying attention. He didn't know there were fucking bolts coming. Yeah, I guess that's true. But he also took one to the heart. You're telling me he's not going to try anything after that? He's just going to eat that shit? Fuck you. Fuck that. It's a lie. It's a lie. And you know it. Honestly, if you consider it happening, it's not a bad scene, you know, like, oh, whatever, the Night King died, you put that shit under your stomach. Yeah, of course they fucked them up here. They gotta fuck them up here. They only took Missandei as prisoner, though. Somehow Tyrion went underwater and survived. Some bullshit non-realism, spectacle over fucking realism shit. Fuck you, Nerd Soup, for saying that. Nerd Soup Monkey, fuck you. Yeah, nah, that shit's just insane. I'm sitting here trying to think of what to say, and I don't know what to say. It's just fucking ridiculous. So I'm just going to move on to the next scene. This rant is closing in at almost 45 minutes now. It's probably going to be a little longer. It might even push an hour because this is a long-ass episode, and there's a lot of shit to fucking break down, dismantle, and destroy. I fucking have to. It's my civic duty as a Game of Thrones fans to not abide this shit. Dub does not abide. This dude does not abide. So, Tyrion and Varys go to fucking Daenerys, and they tell her about how they know that Aegon is Aegon, that he's not just Jon, and they tell her that you need to show some damn restraint. You need to not be a crazy bitch. Actually, wait, hold on. Minor retraction right now. They don't say that. They don't say the part about Jon. They don't, I think they kind of imply it, and that's why I'm saying that, but they don't go and outright say it in this scene, if I'm not mistaken. So, they start talking to her about how pissed off she is about her damn child getting murdered, and she says something very poignant about how the queen, the breaker of chains, the liberator, the dragon queen should do everything in her power to avoid bloodshed and, like, dragon fire. And then she says that The people will know who it is to blame when it all comes crumbling down on them. Pretty much saying that she's going to head charge, just like she did that damn fleet with her fucking dragon and her fucking army into King's Landing, and she's going to destroy everything. She's going to melt those damn castles. The Dothraki are going to rape and pillage. The Unsullied are going to stab the fuck out of some Lannister guys. It's over. The boom shakalaka. And fix it on how much fucking screen time in this episode, we might even see the setup for it. Foreshadowing. I say it that obvious, just so you notice. Real quick. How about Heartbreaker, Love Taker? That's not a song, I don't think. But Jaime Lannister fucks over Brienne so hard. The first time she ever tries to show love to anybody in her entire fucking life, Jaime seduced her and then breaks her heart, tells her that he hates, and then just leaves. I think it's funny that they put her in a dress for the first time ever since she was back in Winterfell when the Boltons were there. That's a good, parallel, except this one isn't a frilly light dress. This one is a black, somber dress, almost as if she knew she was going to get her heart fucking broken right then. Regardless, that shit's bullshit. This isn't the Jaime we know. This isn't the Jaime that's developed over seasons, that lost his hand, that got his fucking heart broken by Cersei, that's been scorned and betrayed, that's decided to fight for the living and turn over a new leaf. This is some bullshit. And again, like I said, Jaime, shadow of his former self. And I'm not saying the season 1 Jaime, I'm saying the season 3 and 4 Jaime, where he ain't got a damn hand, and he's kind of somber. Alright, last fucking scene. There's a good few minutes here where the army pulls up on the gates of fucking King's Landing, all the Unsullied and the Dothraki and the fucking dragon. Also, real quick, before I go into this is really stupid, because Cersei pre-shot those dragons, right? You're telling me that as soon as that dragon lands, that those fucking 8 or so ballistas we saw don't just fucking light him up like a Christmas tree. Bullshit. Those are your two biggest threats. If you get rid of those dragons, the Golden Company can handle a combination of 15,000 Northmen, Dothraki, and Unsullied. Plus however many Lannister soldiers you have, plus the fact that you're at a big-ass fucking castle, plus the fact that you have the Iron Fleet, and they no longer have dragons to fucking stop the Iron Fleet like they said previously in the episode. Okay, that moving forward. Qyburn comes out, right? Tyrion walks up. They talk. Unconditional surrenders on both sides. From Daenerys' side, you gotta let go of fucking Missandei. Of course, fucking Cersei isn't gonna do that. She's got the upper hand right now. She ain't gotta do nothing. I think we gotta make a quick note on how D&D has been loving the smell of their own farts this season with how much better they are than Game of Thrones. Look at how high those fucking big monolithic walls are with the horrible spires with the turrets on them. They didn't have spires in the fucking, in the universe I'm referring with turrets on them, but they had big ghastly spires with metal shit on them. It's the future. It's science. This is a direct parallel to Lord of the Rings with the Black Gate scene, with the exception that they don't chop off Qyburn's head at the end. He even literally says, "I am a mouth for my queen. You are her subject. I do as she commands." I like the wording when she's like, I call him she by accident. Tyrion says that her reign is over. It's time for Cersei to step. I think they both need to step the fuck down at this point, but I'm talking about Cersei in this particular instance. Cersei needs to step the fuck down. It's over. Daenerys has got the win. Qyburn cleverly points out that no, they see no such reality in this kingdom, and that their dragon is quite vulnerable. They could do whatever they wanted. Tyrion pleads with him. He tries to see reason. He should know that this motherfucker will not take an emotional appeal because he is cold and logical, just like the motherfucker complimented him on previously in the conversation. Tyrion even compliments him on being a logical individual. Qyburn accepts it very modestly and you're going to be surprised when he doesn't accept your emotional appeal to, oh, you don't want to die, right? You don't want to listen to little kids screaming. You're fucking stupid, Tyrion. You're not Tyrion Lannister. I'm going to call you Terrence Lannister now, because you're not the same character. You're a bitch, and you suck. So, of course, Qyburn, they have nothing more to discuss. So Tyrion tries his old Season 7 finale trick, and he walks past him. They do a nice long night, or should I say, long night stand, one night stand, fucking Season 8, Episode 3, classic fake out. They have them all draw their bows and point them at Tyrion. He freaks out. Cersei puts her hand up as if to give the order. Hold on, I'm about to tell you to kill him. And then she puts her hand down. And then for 1 second, again, spectacle for realism, Tyrion starts, like, whispering to himself. May not be whispering, but, like, quiet talking like he was to Varys earlier in the scene with the throne room when he didn't want anybody to hear him. And somehow you hear it echoing up onto the walls where Cersei is at. Even though they're probably a good, like, 50, 60 feet away from each other. I'm not saying that she can't hear the noise, but she has no idea what the fuck he's saying. Y'all have no idea how sound works. None. Especially because he's looking down at the ground. If he were looking up directly at her, there'd be a little boost. It definitely wouldn't be enough, but it'd be a little more believable. And if he were shouting or something, like he did in his Season 2, Episode 9, Blackwater speech, let's kill them. You know, he gives a great speech where he's shouting to the men that are way closer to him than Cersei are, but he knows they have to hear his words, so he speaks the fuck up. Again, like the defeated shell of a character he is in this scene, he quietly looks at the ground and asks for forgiveness from Cersei. Please don't do it. Cersei, in classic crazy bitch fashion, walks up to Missandei and grabs her arm. If you have any last words, now would be the time. Missandei looks out. They all have moments where they're looking at Missandei. Cersei looks out at them. Tyrion looks at Cersei. And then, without a word, Cersei looks at my man, Hafthor Bjornsson, the fucking zombie mountain, without a single sound. He moves. And then, the only noise you hear, it's gone completely silent. Great sound design, D&D. Pulls the blade out. And with an excellent, very reminiscent to the governor killing Herschel scene, they chop off Missandei's head. But in a classic subversion, Rian Johnson twist, Daenerys stifles her insanity, stares at Cersei for 30 seconds a little bit, and then angrily walks away after Missandei screams Dracarys. You're telling me that didn't rile up Daenerys enough to freak out a little bit, even though she had charged the ships for killing her son? That Missandei is pretty much her child, her best friend, her confidant. They're like girlfriends, you know? Like, you're my girlfriend, you know? Like, you want to go out sometime this week? Like, just go get some wine and have a good time. And I know that's a little stereotypical, but you know what I'm talking about. These motherfuckers are tight. They've been through everything together. Ever since she freed Missandei in Season 3 with that epic display of almost godly power, they've been inseparable. And not only that, Missandei has grown to love her almost blindly because of how great she perceives her to be. And after her dying, being beheaded and thrown off the wall of King's Landing, no less, she just leaves